Hello there, Seraphim17 once again. This is my Gears of War 4 Inconceivable difficulty video walkthrough. This is Act 4-4, it's called Powerless, and it's my least favourite chapter in the game. I think Tol and Dam is such a boring section. It goes on forever. It's got a couple of good fights, but fundamentally, they're all just kind of underwhelming, and this is the worst one. This fight here, where there's this lovely long firing range with two pieces of cover and a room that is a kill box if you move into it against enemies that are very damaging and very aggressive. This is just one of those fights that I will never enjoy because there's no definitive way to make it easier. You don't have a long shot here to shoot them in the face, and if you brought one, you're a genius. You don't really have much thanks to the carrier fight that just ran full all your ammo. You don't have that many tools to do much here, and your team gets in the way, they get in the way. Sometimes they're super aggressive, sometimes they're super defensive. There's like nothing to it, and it winds me up so much that I'd rather just not play. Like, there are times when I just don't shoot at them. I just let the team do whatever the team does and hope they get aggressive. In my mind, if I back up, they should move forward. That's just how it should work. It should always be representative of where I am. But they are all super comfortable with sitting at the other end of this hallway waiting for me to push forward. And I'm sorry, but that's not fun. Pushing forward against enemies this dangerous is a death sentence. Especially when the cover is bad, and if you do get rushed, if you move out of cover, their friends will kill you. Like, there's no good area here. So instead, I do shit like this, where I'm just frustrated and I hate this fight and I want it to be over, but I don't have the tool to do it, and it's just this war of attrition of really frustrating gameplay. So I just kind of try and chill by messing around, and it's just unfortunate. Like, if you can bring a long shot here, guys, you'll have a much better time, but I don't even know why I get so mad at this fight, I just do. I hate that your team takes the doors. I hate that when you're on the fucking doors, they stand in front of you and block your shots. I hate that the enemies don't rush you unless you go through that door. Like, there's so many parts of it. Oh, and this is Dell using a pistol because I gave him power weapons that have no ammo in them now. And I can't swap his weapons. It's just unfortunate. But I've procrastinated long enough. I suppose I should actually start doing something. But it's just one of those fights. You might like it, you might not have any problems with it, but I don't. It really, really bugs me. On the tier of fight list, this is definitely dog shit tier. And it could have been so different as well, you know. If their HP was drastically lower, and it was more of a... Like, they could have decreased the ammunition even more so and made the enemies die much quicker. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Like, I would have gone for even more damage. Like, I don't mind dying in half the time you die in Inconceivable, as long as they die the same, you know? That's all you have to do. Remember Golden Gun from GoldenEye? Everybody died in one fucking shot from that gun. Didn't matter who you were. You could be Baron Samedi, you're still going down. Like, there's something in it where it's one apiece. Whoever gets that first shot wins. It feels good. This does not feel good. This feels awful. And it's just... Like, if these... You know that mission in Do Not Go Gentle that I said took me like 40 minutes and it was really difficult? Where the fuck are those guys? Where are the guys that run straight down the middle of this corridor trying to punch me? Why aren't they here? Why are these the guys, the skeleton crew, that want to sit back and watch DVDs? Like, I don't get it. Why are they so happy to sit all the way over there and never come this way? Like, if I put the controller down now, will it be here for the rest of eternity because nobody's going to duo? It's such a weird fight. I've never seen a fight in Gears where the enemy doesn't initiate anything. It's really weird. I don't know if it's the programming, I don't know what it is, but they're obsessed with sitting in cover back there and they're never coming forward. And if you go towards that piece of green barrels on the left, they rush you. And guess what I'm doing? I'm moving forward because he's down and it's the end of the fight. But you know, if you sit on that cover there, you will get rushed and you will die. It's just how it works. And that, my friends, is my least favourite fight in this game. And it's not because it's hard, it's because it's miserable. And then we get the double pouncers, and this is not so bad. But I would take on 50 pouncers in one room than do that fight that we just did, because it's crap. Look at that though, see that? Gosh, these dudes hurt, and they're very accurate. And it's really funny too, because they can land on something that's not even connected to what you're on, nowhere near you, and it still knocks you out of cover. They've got a weird AoE on them. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to wait for them to jump on my team, and then I'm going to tag them. That's just the strategy that we're using today. So he's on my teammate, but it's kind of close to his buddy. Oh, I still managed to do it though, that was cool. Very close, and now there's only one. Unless there's another one turning up. There it goes. You see this little animation? And then he cancelled it and didn't do it. So that right there was the, I'm going to jump on your face, please. That's what that was. So that's normal jump. Watch him. Just watch the snatcher. You can see it. It's like, there it was. You see it? They're super excited, like, blah, 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 with its face. That's the thing. But then it doesn't do it sometimes because they move. There it was again. See it? And he didn't do it. He moved position instead. So tail whip a bunch of times. Jumping across. He whipped him with his tail. There it was. See it? Excited? Jump. That was it. And he missed. So there you can actually chainsaw it and you can tag it, but I didn't want to risk it. But that's what you're looking for. That animation is essentially, I'm going to jump on somebody, but if they move, I'm not. Which is really dumb. There it was. And he didn't do it. See what I mean? I don't like that. I don't like that he can telegraph that move and then not do it. Can you imagine if a goddamn Scion went, suppressing, and then didn't shoot? That would be really weird. There are rules. Unless there's a disco turret, because the disco turret does that all the time. Suppressing, suppressing, It's really stupid. This is not the quickest way to kill them, guys, admittedly, but I like this strategy. I think it's cool. The chainsaw one is good as well, and it saves you the grenades. Here he goes. There it was. See him? And he got somebody. Now we can kill him. Boom. That's really good design, that. One grenade to kill a pouncer. I love it. I wonder if it's the same with the 2.5 times HP multiplier. Anyhow, guys, this is the elevated sequence where you split up. I think I've gone on the left with my dad. We're going to be shooting down at the people who are defending the generators. This is a long checkpoint as well, so if you fail it at any point, it goes back a little further back than you'd like. But none of this is particularly that challenging outside of a couple of Scions that are going to turn up. And if you're good with the buzz, with the drop shot, you can do a lot of damage to them. And if you like the Marxer, because you're going to get one here, you can use that as well. I really liked the Marxer in Judgment, and I enjoy it in Horde and in the multiplayer, but for some reason my aim just wasn't very good with it in this recording session. I was not feeling it. There are times when you really feel on and every shot's golden, but then there are times when it's just not like that, and this was one of those. So as much as I do think the Marxer is a good gun, and I would definitely stick with it and practice with it, it was showing me no love. But turn the switch. Which I love that they've got this from the first game. Why the hell is this technology still prevalent in these games? Is there something wrong with the planet of Serra? Did nobody invent laptops and tablets and stuff? Everything is done with huge, ridiculously Luigi and Mario wheels. Like, do you think they use plumbers to fix these engineering panels? Like, every piece of infrastructure in Serra is serviced by a plumber because they all have comedically sized valves on them. It's really dumb, right? So when you open this door, it's going to spawn a dude who jumps on a turret faster than you can fart. Look at that! How does he move so fast? It's really dumb. It should not take that many headshots. I don't care who you are, dude. You could be fucking Mr. T. You should go down faster than that. Ridiculous. Why did he take that many shots? I don't understand it. Very strange. He's got a metal plate in his face. Is he a necromorph? Look at him charging us with a Boltok. Good night. I love the reload sound on this gun. It sounds like the Garand. You know when the Garand pops its little cartridge thing that it has to re-put in? That wonderful jingle. This gun has a very similar sounding mechanism, and it sounds wonderful. But just me and Dad shooting a random monster. One thing I found really interesting in this game is it uses dramatic irony a lot. Because every time the locusts turn up at the beginning of the game, you're never with people that have seen a locust. You're always with people that were not there for the war against the locusts. So there's a lot of us as an audience being more informed than the characters are. And then eventually when Marcus and the likes turn back up, they pretty much confirm it. But I think I'm going to look on the wikis to see where the snatchers and the pouncers came from, because I don't understand where they come from. I get the idea that the scions are just normal locusts that survived that crystallization, that hibernation period, and that they've gone on to essentially resurrect the drones by taking people, putting them in pods, and then the pods mature enough and go into the nests and become drones, right? I get that, but I don't understand. Did they get a cat and a dog and stick them in and do the process and they became the things? Like, I really hope the next game explains that, because they don't look like anything. They don't look like the riftworms that are the progenitors to everything, apparently, if you read too deeply on the fucking conspiracy theories and everything. They don't look like the sires, whatever the hell they were, some kind of progenitor locust experiment that they conveniently forgot for the rest of the game. Like, I don't really understand the connection. And I'd like to, because it's interesting. But keep on shooting. There's the generator done. Sounds like someone's on a turret. I think it might be Marcus. Don't know where he found that, but good for him, right? I wish I'd look over to see what he's doing. At the time, I must have been oblivious. This is what Powerless does to me, though. Which, it must be said, guys, as much as this is my least favourite chapter in the game, I don't mind this bit. I think this bit's actually quite fun. It's just that first fight irks me so much, I would delete it from the game. Like, I would risk removing this chapter and risk the story making even less sense than it does to just get rid of that fight. And add a Hammer of Dawn. God, I love the Hammer of Dawn. Can you believe one of the most iconic Gears weapons is barely in this game, and it's not in the multiplayer? How is the hammer not in the multiplayer, dude? Gosh, the amount of bodies I could pile up from kills in multiplayer with that majestically cheesy weapon. I don't understand it. Oh, he's moving fast. Do you see how fast he strafed then? You can't walk that fast. It's like they've got skateboards or something. It's really dumb. Super fast locusts. I'd love to understand that. I'd love to talk to a programmer and be like, dude, why does everybody move faster than we do? Why do we look like we're pushing a wardrobe and they look like they're on roller skates? I want roller skates. So this is the second carrier. This is another one that's actually pretty easy too. The only problem with this room is that there's a ton of pods that release juvies, but I think this room has another one of the buzz kills in it. So if you pick up that gun and you hit this dude a lot, it does so much damage. And he always hits the ground there no matter what distance you are from him, because it wants him to wake up that juvie. And I've also tried dropping balls on him, but I'm not too sure that it hurts him. I think he might be okay with it. I think he might swing the other way. I wouldn't want dripping meaty ball juice on me, but he seems fine with it. Yes, there is a buzz kill in this room, isn't there? But I'm not using it, I'm just lancing him like a beast. Look how confident I am around this monster. God damn. But it goes to show, guys, that he's not difficult. Oh, and there's this position. So this area is the same thing that I did on Insane. This is one of the strongest positions in the room because all the projectiles he fires, you can move towards the corner here and they hit the wall. So you're never in danger. The only threat is if he comes closer. And he's going to have to walk through a firing squad to get close. And half the time he turns on your friends, so it's one of those. He's dead. Look at that. How easy was that? That was a first attempt, that. And the carriers can be tricky if you get unlucky, but I don't know. On this session, they went down really quick. And you won't be there long, even if you struggle a little bit. You might die 2 or 3 times to something stupid or getting direct impacted. But for the most, I'm just really happy that I managed to get that as quickly as I did. And then I'm going to swap to a Nasher, which I love the Nasher, but the campaign Nasher is just dreadful. And then we have this fight, which this should have been a retry, but I ended up doing it on the first attempt because that first grenade didn't hit anybody. If I could get both those grenades to kill them, I would have been able to potentially kill all 3 of these guys really quickly, and that would have been great. But all it did was waste grenades. So learn from my mistakes, guys. Make those throws a little better and speed up this first entrance. But there we go. And now there's a couple more dudes running forward and there's a mulcher behind them. And mulchers are scary, man. They almost make you forget that there's no butchers anymore because the locusts don't need food now, apparently. And there's no maulers because the locusts no longer carry shields and weird maces. Now when you think about it, they've really reduced their numbers, haven't they? There's some very disgruntled locusts on the bread line looking for further employment at this moment. No diggers, no cantuses, no... Like, they took away the guns as well. I find that really strange. Why wasn't there a novelty Gorgon knocking about in one of the dig grave sites? I liked the Gorgon. It wasn't the best gun in the game, but it was different. Like, where's the flamethrowers gone? Do we no longer need flamethrowers? Admittedly, the flamers were kind of annoying, unless you shot the tanks. But everything seems to be missing, right? There's no mortar launcher. There's so many sweet things that we lost. Remember the one-shot? That was kind of stupid, right? That was a fun one. It was impractical and awkward, and half the time you died aiming the thing, but... I don't know, I just feel like in a franchise this well-developed, you don't want to be getting less guns, you want to be getting more guns, right? And the guns they've added all look like Nerf guns or cereal boxes. It's really strange. If it's not bright blue, it's practically a square. I don't get it. Gears had some cool shit. Remember the ink grenades? They were cool. Look at that, dude. That's ambitious. You know what is interesting? In a lesser game, when you shoot dude spinning a grenade, he'd drop the grenade and kill himself. Gears never did that. Look at that! Fucking geniuses. But that time, the grenade not only did it bounce, but it didn't detonate immediately. Which, you haven't had a chance to see any of those fantastic grenades that they seem to cook, even though you can't cook grenades in Gears. But they happen. By the time it's bounced, you're dead. It happens a lot. And I really, really like this room. I have no idea what this room is, or why it exists, because if you think about it in the grand scheme of things, it's a massive nightmare when it comes to health and safety. But if it isn't cool, I don't know what is. Dynamic, moving, shifting battlefields. The only game that's even come close to this is something like Vanquish, or Inversion, if you ever played that. Inversion's not the best game, but it's got some really cool concepts for cover. It's pretty tough too. That's a really difficult game if you like your third-person shooters with a lot of jank. But look at him. I love how they're all throwing grenades. This is a really interesting encounter. I suppose Gears 2 did have some moving cover, but it was those stupid worms. If you got unlucky, they instantly killed you. Anybody die to those? Those were silly. And they're supposed to be like Locust Jesuses, right? Precursor somethings. I read something on the wiki about it essentially being God or some stupid stuff, which I thought was funny. But people know a lot about the lore in these games. I'm assuming it's because of the books. There's a lot of books that fill in a lot of information, which I've never read, and I probably should, because it's quite cool. I like the idea of the Pendulum Wars and stuff. And I did think that instead of Judgment, I think they should have done a Pendulum Wars game that led to Emergence Day. Half the game should have been fighting against yourself, and the other half should have been about the Locust emerging. I think it would have been way more interesting. Then again, as I keep mentioning and I'm going to repeat, I think the campaign for Judgment was a lot better than people gave it credit. And it was hard as well, it was really hard. I don't remember it though. It's been a long time since I played it. I've never gone back to that one. I did the 3 stars declassified insane guide, and that was it. That was the last time I played it. It'd be sick if they could release a high definition / PC port of those old games with higher frame rates and everything. That'd be so nice. I'm telling you, it sounds silly, doesn't it? But mouse and keyboard, high refresh rate, high frame rate, higher FOV, these are all reasons for me to go back and beat some fucking Gears games. Because they're really fun to play as well. And I did buy the Ultimate Edition, and I didn't cover it because I got debated, and I was really bugged by that. Which, if you don't know, most of you do, I thought there was an extra difficulty, like Inconceivable, and I was all over that shit because Gears 1 is one of those genre-defining games for me. It's one of my favourite games of all time. So I was really excited to take on a hard difficulty. And it turns out they just added fucking normal or some shit like that, and I didn't realise because I'm stupid. So I beat Insane, hoping to unlock a new difficulty, and it turns out I'm an idiot. Which is really silly too, because you know, if I'd have recorded the run on Insane, it was the best run. I carried a sniper, and I carried a boom shot through the entire middle of the game. Because I never died. Like, I knew the game so well, and I was just sealing emergence holes, killing everybody before the fight even began. It was beautiful. Like, it was a really sick run, and if you look on my Twitter history, you'll probably be able to find it. I was even tweeting that I think they made the difficulty easy because I was having such a good time and killing everything effortlessly. It was crazy. It was the sickest run. If I tried to do it now, I'd have so much trouble, and I'd get bummed, and nothing would be smooth. But that run was a god run, and I didn't record it, and it really frustrates me that I didn't because I'm stupid. But the reason it bugged me is on console, it runs at 30 frames a second, and then the multiplayer runs at 60. And I'm sorry, but if you're going to remake a game, you can't have 30 frames a second. That's bullshit. That's some Okami bullshit right there. Oh, by the way, I think that killed him just then. It did. That drop shot killed him. That goes to show how powerful that gun is if you can actually bloody use it. And it's tough to use. I don't say that lightly. But I'm also pretty shit with it. Because it's awkward and I miss the digger. I miss the ambitious dig. Everybody liked that, right? So this is a scary part. But luckily enough, the chain had me covered. You could call that off the chain. Or under the chain, I guess. And then we have this fight, which is miserable and very difficult. So this is a splitting up section that involves a large firefight with some Therons, who are now called hunters and don't wear the sexy armour, and a snatcher. And the only threat in this fight, in my opinion, is getting grenaded, because that's a threat, and then getting killed by the snatcher. But I've got a really good strategy that works the same as it did on Insane. And this only took 2 attempts, luckily. The first attempt I got quilled. I miscalculated how close to the stairs I was, so when I rolled backwards I hit that panel next to the stairs, and quills do not mess around. They will end you in a second, in an absolute heartbeat. But this first phase your team will always die, and depending on how aggressive you are will depend on how many enemies are left when your team is dead. So this was one of those moments where if I showed you the attempt before this, it was way messier than this. This is really clean, all considered. And then when the snatcher turns up, which is going to happen when this drone dies, whenever it sees to get an interest in you, stop shooting it. The last thing you want is the snatcher to come for you, because if he attacks you, you die. When he attacks your team, he steals them and then he slowly walks away with the Incredible Hulk music on, and then you can kill him, which is amazing. But if he does it to you, dead. So what's going to happen is the moment he jumps across to my side and I know he's coming for me, I'm going to hide. And it might not look like the most manly display, but it works. And don't knock it, right? If it works, it works. He's down. Now I can pick up some ammo. And the moment you kill... And they're going to go and execute him, by the way, so you don't have long. Because for some reason the AI is merciless. Look at her! Fucking skipping to kill him. Little sociopath over there. But here he comes. He's going to drop down into the middle, just in front, and you want to throw your grenades there to get some extra damage on him. But be careful, because he jumps. So if he jumps... Oh no, he's quilling. This is bad. There we go, he didn't aim at me. If he'd have aimed at me, then I was probably dead. But this is where I stand. I throw the grenades. I try and mark him and shoot him with a torque. I'm assuming his gender, because he's got a big tail. I don't know how they work. For all you know, it could be the same. And now, he's looking at me. So now he's going to jump over here. You stop shooting and you hide. Come down here, go into cover, and then stop. Don't do anything else. Or keep shooting him, because you're crazy. That works too. I don't actually know if this snatcher can come down the stairs, because this was a second attempt, and I never got this far on the other attempt. But it seems like if you just wait here, he gets all frustrated, and then they shoot him, and then they piss him off, and then he goes back across. That's all we're going to do. I think I did the same thing on Insane, so this is one of those fights I haven't tested because I haven't needed to, because this works so well. But he's going to jump to the middle, and that's when we're going to go back up. Once he's jumped. There we go, he jumps to the middle, and then you can go and engage him again. And this is all we're doing. Just hit him with everything you've got, and when he dies, you'll get a checkpoint. But if you die here, you have to do the first phase again. Drop shot on him, nice. And see that? It made him drop the person immediately, which is awesome. That just goes to show how much damage you've got in that drop shot, if you can land it. Yeah, he's coming for me now, so it's time to hide. But this is all I do. Can you imagine if you had that stupid pistol? You could shoot this thing once, and the fight's over. I can't even begin to imagine using that pistol. That's so crazy. shooting those choppers, those shitty choppers. I don't think you can though, because the graveyard's in Act 3, right? So you can't shoot the choppers with it. That'd be fun though. Can you imagine shooting the fucking vulture with it? Bye. So this guy can't have much life left. He's got irritable bowel. So this is how I died before. Did you see that just then? He turned towards me, he death rattled and he quilled, but I was too far forward. So when I rolled out of it, I hit the panel. Don't do that. It ends badly for you. But thank you for watching, and you take care now.